Hey everybody, Pastor John here. Now, as many of you might know, and might not know, we are starting a monthly Bible study at Living Water Community Church in Oakland around the book of Revelation. It'll be the first Thursday of every month. It starts at 5:30. We start with potluck. Around 6-ish, we'll begin the study. So everyone's welcome. You can be part of any church if you just want to come and learn more about the book of Revelation. We invite you to come to that. It's almost perfect timing to be discussing end times in light of everything that's just happened with Charlie Kirk, and this isn't a video to weigh in on that or anything. It's just we can see we're in dark times, and with that, usually there's a lot of discussion. If you go on any YouTube channel right now, you will see, at least Christian YouTube channel, there's a lot of discussion a lot of times about end times. A lot of people have different views, and there's people that are date setting that the rapture's happening, it's September at some point, right? And so we have this happening, this discussion happening. We see things happening in the world around us that make us think, okay, the end is near. And Revelation chapter 1, verse 3 says that the time is near, right? We are always closer and closer to the end times. And end times meaning when Jesus Christ returns. So we are doing a study, like I said, once a month on Thursday nights, first Thursday of the month. You're welcome to come. Now, what I want to do in between the Thursdays leading up to the study on the first Thursday of the month, I want to do some videos that will help us understand Revelation at a deeper level, to discuss some things that actually aren't in the book of Revelation. For instance, the rapture, the Antichrist, the Great Tribulation. To look into other passages where those words come from is from the Olivet Discourse in Matthew, the book of Daniel, looking into First Thessalonians, and discussing some of these things that really aren't in Revelation, but they are important details when we start to study the book of Revelation. So Thursday, Friday, each week, there will be a video coming out that will explain a certain topic or a certain passage that is around the discussion of end times. Now, for this video, for the first one, what I want to do is just give a quick understanding of why I love end times, more like a personal testimony, and then explain quickly why I think it actually end times matters, why the discussion around it, not necessarily debate really, it can be a debate, but I think a healthy debate, but why I do think it's important for a Christian to have a view and to understand end times, or the correct term would be eschatology, the study of end times. So my background with end times, I grew up Christian home, but I also grew up in what some have called the Left Behind era. It's when the Left Behind books were very popular. The movie with Kirk Cameron, Left Behind movie, came out. There was every youth group I went to, all my Christian friends were always discussing the rapture, when the rapture was going to happen. I remember whenever I hear a trumpet, I would think, oh, it's happening right now. Or I remember sometimes when I was younger, I couldn't find my parents. I think, did the rapture happen? Did I get left behind? I grew up in this era. I grew up where the youth pastor would have his message would be gearing towards what would happen if Jesus came tomorrow. Are you ready for the return of Christ? So I had this a lot, the idea of the rapture happening, the end times happening, and so from that I had from a very start, and most everyone around me, probably you as well, had always had a dispensational premillennialist view of the end times. That's kind of the corner most of us as Christians have always been in. We always kind of viewed end times through that lens of the Left Behind movies, and because it's very easily available. We can see it. It's played out for us. A lot of us had that view. And I've always loved this, at an early age of I think I was 11 or 12 years old. I remember the first book of the Bible I read was the book of Revelation. It was actually during church. The pastor at the time, great man, very dry preacher, at least for an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, whatever age I was. And so I remember, instead of listening to him, I would open my Bible up and read the book of Revelation. I didn't understand probably any of it that I read, but I really enjoyed reading through it. And from that point on, I've always had a love for end times. I love to discuss it. I love to talk about it. If you've ever talked to me about this topic, you'll notice I could talk for a long time about the study of end times. Now, into my adulthood, into becoming a pastor and studying deeper, I've learned that all the different views of eschatology, and I've learned to understand them at a deeper level. And my views have changed. And just to let you know, the goal of studying through Revelation is not to necessarily give you my view. My purpose is to go through all of them: the premillennialist view, the postmillennialist view, and the amillennialist view, and maybe even in historic premillennialists as well, and discuss the book of Revelation through each one of those lenses, and then also breaking down further into different types of views as well. And I've even debated whether or not I tell you my view or not. I'm probably going to leave it a mystery. Right? It's just you might be able to maybe guess at some point what my view is, or maybe you know what it is. I've told some of you guys, but I want to just have an open discussion around the view of end times, because the truth of the matter is, I think we should be able to talk about these things and even disagree on this issue, because churches shouldn't split over this issue at all. It should be something that we can have a postmillennialist and a premillennialist in the same church, and we can still fulfill the Great Commission together. So I don't think it needs to split churches at all. It's a tragedy when it does, to be honest with you. To be honest, I've said before, just put this out there, we don't know exactly how the end times is going to take place, or when it's going to take place. We really don't know. In the same way as, Jesus' first return, the Jews didn't really know how Jesus was going, or the Messiah was going to come. Like, they had a hard time reconciling in Isaiah the conquering king and the suffering servant. Like, how do you have a conquering king and a suffering servant? Well, Jesus, right? Jesus came in and he explained it. And I think the same way is when the second coming happens. Like we kind of wrestle with some of these things of when this is going to happen. How is this going to take place? All this strange imagery we find in Revelation. How is this all going to happen? I think when Jesus returns, it'll be makes sense, right? So that's how I want to read through Revelation. Study it together is not giving a this is how it's going to be, and that's it. But this is how different people view it. And I will only teach the views that are from Scripture. I will not teach any heretical views, meaning heretical being mainly they don't believe Jesus Christ will return, right? Every one of these views is in Scripture. I can see where they're coming from, and they all end with the same endpoint: Jesus returns as King, right? So that's where we all end. Jesus ruling and reigning on earth, right? That's the end of it. So why does it matter? Kind of quickly here, just to end with this, why does the book of Revelation matter? Simply, one, it's in Scripture. Just say that right away. It's in Scripture. It's there for a reason. I do think, we'll get into this more as we study through the book of Revelation. I think it can deter us or help us fulfill the Great Commission in our heart. At least our motivation behind it. And I think you can see this in two radical ends, right? So if you find a premillennialist who believes the rapture is going to happen tomorrow, they can, at least a radical end. Most people are right in the middle. They aren't at the radical ends. But they can say, what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of pursuing anything in life? What's the point of trying to change the culture because Jesus is coming back tomorrow, right? So that's a radical view, which I don't think most Christians have that. That's why most people will say, well, why does it matter? Jesus is returning, whether it's going to be now or in 1,000 years, he's still returning, right? True. But it also radical end is, take a postmillennialist, for instance. If you postmillennialists believe that the world will be basically conquered by Christians will conquer the world, and it'll be through peaceful means. Almost every postmillennialist will say this, but a radical end could justify maybe warfare, right? We're gonna conquer the world through battle, and most postmillennialists would never say that. Same thing as most premillennialists would never say that there's no point in engaging in the culture. So those are two radical ends, but if we don't understand the different views and don't understand, Revelation as a whole, we can find ourselves at these radical ends. Another point to make is that if you look at many cults are surrounded around a certain eschatology. You look at David Koresh, Jim Jones, even Mormons, they're Latter-day Saints. Right? It's surrounded around a certain eschatological view. Their views are not biblical at all. So, and people can be persuaded and can stray away because they don't have a deep theological understanding of end times. So my goal is to equip us as a church to understand end times, understand why it matters, and then also understand how that then fuels us even more to try to fill the Great Commission and to see Christ's kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. So that's my goal. I am really excited to dive into this with you guys over the next, I don't even know how long it's going to be, probably a year or so. And so I'll see you next time. Hopefully, if you're part of Living Water Community Church, I'll see you on Sunday. And until next time, see you guys.